The PR-41 Neustrashimy is Russia's brand new 4.7 premium destroyer in Update 1.97. It's a pretty great ship, serving as a well-rounded and strong grinder for the Russian Navy. Before going further, I'd like to thank my best friend Raul Electrolf for giving me this ship. It's an absolute blast to play, and eased my grind a lot, and I couldn't have gotten this review done without him. I'd also like to apologize in advance for how many times I pronounced the name of this ship wrong, because it's going to happen a lot. Now for the history of this ship. The P-41 Neustrashimy, or Dauntless, was originally built in 1950. Only one was completed, but it was considered too large to be mass-produced, and the Kotlin class was selected instead. This was the first Russian ship to be given a NATO reporting name, being called the Talon class. The Chinese Luda class also used some of the design concepts of both the Neustrashimy and Kotlin class. On to the ship in-game. First comes the main cannons. The Neustrashimy has four 130mm B-13 cannons split into two turrets, one in the front of the ship and one in the back. These guns have a fire rate of 15 rounds per minute for the first 50 shells per gun, then slow down to 12 rounds per minute afterwards. These guns get access to three shell types: an HE shell with 3.83 kilograms of TNT and 37mm of pen, an SAP shell with 2.21 kilograms of TNT and 203mm of pen, and an HEVT shell with 3 kilograms of TNT and an airburst fuse with a 16-meter detonation radius. The HE shell is the best overall and works well against most targets. Since these shells have more explosive filler than any 5-inch guns and even some 6-inch guns, along with a high mass and velocity, they deal a large amount of raw damage per hit. Paired with the fast fire rate of the cannons, this shell allows the Neustrashimy to tear through most destroyers it faces within a few barrages. Next comes the SAP shell, which is probably the most interesting shell on the ship. It fills the niche of detonating the ammunition of enemy ships or dealing damage to cruisers who are otherwise impervious to the Neustrashimy's weaponry. These shells are practically required to fight cruisers, so I would recommend bringing a decent amount of them. These shells can also detonate the ammunition of destroyers, which gives them a theoretical higher skill cap than the HE. It's difficult to hit the smaller ammunition stockpiles of destroyers, but if someone were to practice hitting them and get very consistent at it, the Neustrashimy would easily beat every single destroyer within a few shots. Last is the HEVT shell. This shell is excellent for sniping enemy planes at long ranges, especially when you pair it with the Neustrashimy's radar. Simply zoom in on a plane, hit Alt and F, and you'll have an aiming reticle showing precisely where to fire. This can catch most bombers flying in from a distance off guard, netting some easy kills. Don't worry about using these shells constantly though. The Neustrashimy's secondary weapons have the ship more than covered from the air. With 4 quad 45mm cannon turrets, the Neustrashimy has the strongest anti-air armament of any destroyer and even beats out most cruisers. These 4 turrets are spread out equally among the midsection of the ship, ensuring that 2 can fire in any direction. They also have a high rotation and elevation rate despite the large size of the turrets, giving them a very fast reaction time. These cannons can shred enemy planes at medium to short range and make the Neustrashimy an incredibly dangerous anti-air ship. These guns aren't only effective against planes, however. The 45mm cannons can shred PT boats, sub-chasers, and even destroyers who are unlucky enough to get too close. I'd avoid using it against American destroyers due to their high anti-fragmentation armor, but against other ships it works quite nicely. The Neustrashimy gets 10 torpedoes and 2 racks of RBU 2500 rocket-propelled depth charges. These torpedoes are pretty average, with a range of 10 kilometers and a speed of 63 kilometers per hour. I'd recommend bringing these and either dropping them into a choke point or waiting until a ship is close to confirm a kill on them. For the RBU 2500s, they have an incredibly limited range, meaning they're only really useful against flanking PT boats. I'd just leave them off, as they're never really likely to do anything. Next comes the survivability of the ship. The Neustrashimy has a high crew count of 325, but not much other than that. The ship is pretty large, which does help disperse HE charges, but this also makes it a larger target, so it doesn't help very much. There's very little armor, with a maximum thickness of 20mm of anti-fragmentation armor on the bridge and turret faces. There also seems to be a glitch with the new crew mechanics in 1.97. Rather than repairs cutting off at 5%, I've had it start as high as 15% and 19% on the Neustrashimy, so this ship seems particularly prone to glitching with this mechanic. I can only hope this is fixed in the future. Last comes the Neustrashimy's mobility. It's pretty average in this department. The max speed of 62 kilometers is slightly above average, and the acceleration and turning follow suit. It's nothing special here. For the playstyle of the Neustrashimy, it's pretty much a glass cannon. In the 3.7 to 4.7 range, it's one of the most dominant ships in the game and can easily kill anything it faces with a few well-placed barrages. It's best to go to an area that other players might not expect you to be, while also being able to see and fire at them, as you can cripple or kill a target before it can return fire most of the time. This is especially essential in up tiers. This ship can face cruisers all the way up to the completely fair and balanced Admiral Graf Spee, meaning you really don't want to be hit. For ships between the 5.0 and 5.3 range, they can easily be countered by equipping SAP and dumping a few barrages into the ammunition. For the 5.7 top tiers, this same strategy can work, but the higher armor and size of the ships means that many of them can't be countered with the Neustrashimy's weaponry. It's best to avoid cruisers and try to stick to fighting weaker destroyers and PT boats that spawn in different parts of the map. As a premium, the Neustrashimy comes with all modifications unlocked. The most important crew skills are leadership, main caliber reload speed, crew interchangeability, fire prevention, and ship control. For grinding, I would say that the Neustrashimy is an excellent choice. While I can't say whether or not it's worth the 7,080 golden eagles, as that's up to the individual, it is able to grind the entire Soviet naval tree at the moment. It's a very powerful ship, and if the top tiers are ever decompressed, it will only get stronger from not having to face the incredibly powerful top tier cruisers. It's a good bet both now and for the future, along with being very fun to play. Thank you for watching, and thanks again to Raul Electrolf for getting me this ship. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. My channel has been doing very well as of late, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here.